I was halfway out the door, duffel bag in hand, racing to see my dad in the ER when I saw it. A whole fleet of SUVs, Teslas, and smug-looking eco-clown cars completely blocking my gravel driveway. One woman was doing a slow-motion cartwheel next to my mailbox while some shirtless guy, glistening with what I hoped was oil, sat cross-legged on my front lawn like he was auditioning to be Buddha. And smack in the middle of it all was her Marla. Arms raised to the sky, chanting something about realigning her soul portal. My truck wasn't going anywhere. And apparently neither was I. I laid on the horn once. Marla turned her head slightly, gave me a smile that would have made a Disney villain in yoga pants proud, and said, "SAH, we're cleansing the neighborhood energy." That was the moment I swore vengeance. Not petty vengeance, spiritual vengeance. 2 weeks earlier, life had been damn near perfect. I own a few wooded acres on the edge of a semi-rural neighborhood, with a long gravel driveway winding up to my cabin. Private, peaceful, surrounded by trees. My neighbors on either side were retirees who liked their quiet just as much as I did. Then came Marla. She moved into the house next door and immediately hung a massive wooden sign from her porch that read, "The Inner Grove Heal. Awaken. Repeat." That should have been my first clue. The second was when I found a bundle of sage burning on my porch with a note attached that said, "For your negative energies. No need to thank me." I tried to be civil. Really, I did. Marla introduced herself as a yoga instructor, influencer, and holistic lifestyle facilitator, which, as far as I could tell, was a long way of saying unemployed with a strong Wi-Fi signal. She said she ran weekend retreats on her property. Nothing loud, she assured me. Just a few guests looking to realign their lives. Didn't bother me. As long as they didn't touch my property, they could chant until the cows came home. My land was clearly marked. Big signs. Private drive, no trespassing, not a shared road. I figured that was clear enough. Oh, how wrong I was. The first retreat weekend, a few cars parked along the curb. Mildly annoying, but manageable. The second weekend, people were stretching across my driveway. One lady had a whole picnic spread at the base of my mailbox. I went over, asked politely if they could move. Marla smiled, waved her lemon water at me, and said, "We're all one with the land, neighbor. You're part of this too." By the third weekend, I was fed up. Not just with the chanting, or the random drumming circles that popped up at sunset, but with the absolute disregard for basic human decency. My driveway was blocked twice in 1 week. When I confronted Marla, she told me I needed to breathe into the discomfort and offered me a free yoga class. I declined. Politely. Firmly. Then came the weekend. The one that changed everything. Friday started out normal. I was at work when I got a call from my brother. Our dad had collapsed and was being rushed to a hospital 3 towns over. I flew out the door, raced home, heart pounding, to grab an overnight bag. That's when I saw the blockade. My entire driveway looked like a spiritual car lot. 9 cars minimum. One guy doing handstands on a Prius, 2 women taking selfies in front of a makeshift arch made from driftwood. The place smelled like patchouli and smugness. I honked. Nothing. I rolled down my window and shouted. Marla, eyes closed and arms raised like she was absorbing solar energy, opened one eye and said, "This is a sacred moment. Can you come back later?" I wanted to scream. Instead, I snapped a few photos, backed up onto the lawn, and drove through, yanking out her twinkle lights with my bumper on the way out. Dad was okay. Just a scare, dehydration, and a blood pressure dip. But by the time I got back that night, I wasn't just annoyed anymore. I was inspired. While sitting in that sterile hospital room, scrolling through my phone, I remembered something. A buddy of mine from college, Will, runs a local monster truck club. Years ago, I helped him win a land use dispute with the zoning board. He'd always said, if you ever need the favor returned, just say the word. Oh, I was going to say the word. Loudly. I did my homework first. Checked the zoning codes. Filed the right permits. Called the county to confirm the noise regulations for private events. Everything lined up beautifully. Then I sent out the invite. Monster truck charity rally one day, only, all welcome, bring earplugs. All proceeds were going to veteran support programs and a kids' burn treatment center. Legal. Moral. Bulletproof. Marla wanted to spiritually awaken the neighborhood? Fine. I'd awaken it with 66-inch tires and a barbecue truck that smelled like heaven. The next day, I walked a printed flyer and permit packet right to Marla's porch. Hand-delivered. She took it with that tight little fake smile until her eyes landed on the official county seal. Her eyelid twitched. She had no idea what was coming. 5 monster trucks. One called Torhammer. Another named Gravel Beast. Then there was Blunderbuss Betty, Dust Devil Supreme, and my personal favorite executioner. These weren't just trucks. These were behemoths with names that sounded like metal bands. Will pulled the lineup together in under 2 days. I told him, make it loud. Make it legal. Make it unforgettable. And boy, did he deliver. Over the next few days, Marla tried everything she could to derail the event. First, she argued with me on my own driveway, claimed it was vibrationally aggressive and energetically parasitic. I calmly pointed to the permits, the zoning compliance, the charity angle. She tried city inspectors, sent a guy over claiming I had an illegal structure on my property. My shed. Been there since 2003. All my paperwork was already submitted online. Then came the cease and desist letter. Hand-delivered by a guy who smelled like essential oils and shame. The letter accused me of spiritual trespass, emotional terrorism, and my favorite, undermining mindful commerce. I handed him the full packet of permits, a copy of the charity flyer, and a free ticket to the event. Marla took it online next, posting all over the neighborhood group that a violent engine cult was about to descend and pollute our sacred airspace. The only reply she got was from my neighbor Andy, who commented, "Will there be food trucks? Fire, fire, fire." People were picking sides. And most of them were on mine. Friday night arrived. Trucks started rolling in on flatbeds. The food vendor, a guy named Tito, set up his trailer shaped like a pig and started slow-smoking ribs and deep-frying Oreos. Jesse from the fire department came by to volunteer crowd control. Sheriff's deputy? My cousin Rick. He gave me a high five and said she's gonna lose her mind. At exactly 8:30 a.m. Saturday morning, Will climbed into Torhammer and fired her up. The engine roar shook the hills. Birds scattered. A dog barked 3 blocks over. At the inner grove, Marla's retreat guest mid-sun salutation jerked upright like someone had blown an air horn in church. Marla kept her eyes closed, pretending it wasn't happening. Will revved again. Then hit the custom horn, Eye of the Tiger, badly off-key and louder than sin. That was the moment Marla snapped. She stormed over barefoot, hair frizzed, tunic flapping. "This is a spiritual ceremony," she shrieked. "You're desecrating sacred land." I raised my coffee mug, pointed to the mounted permit, and said, "We're raising money for veterans and sick kids. Want to donate?" Her face turned a shade of purple I'd never seen before. She spun on her heel and stormed back to her property. The rally went off like clockwork. Ramps, tires, engine roars. A yoga mat pancaking competition that had the crowd screaming. People bought t-shirts with monster trucks doing tree pose. Kids rode on the mini truck simulator. By noon, we'd raised over $3,000. Marla tried calling the sheriff. Cousin Rick showed up. Checked the paperwork. Told her, "Ma'am, everything's in order. Also, that truck over there? Raised enough to buy a kid a new prosthetic leg." She went inside and slammed the door. By sunset, her retreat was in ruins. Only 3 guests remained, one of whom was Googling refund policies. The rest had fled in dust-covered Autos and Lexuses. Marla stood at her window like a ghost, candle flickering beside her, watching the neighborhood cheer. And then the video hit Reddit. A rally guest had captured her meltdown, full shriek, hands flailing, in front of the sheriff while in the background Blunderbuss Betty did donuts with a flag reading "Peace through power." The video went viral overnight. 300,000 upvotes. Top post on Entitled People. The internet renamed her Mindful Marla. Memes. Reaction GIFs. Someone edited her onto a monster truck being driven by a meditating Buddha. She lost it. Tried to fight back online. Posted a teary video apology, something about being misunderstood by motorized masculinity. It bombed. Her website crashed. Reviews tanked. Guests demanded refunds. She filed a lawsuit, emotional damage, spiritual sabotage, dust-related trauma. Court day came. The whole town showed up. She wore white robes and brought a mala bead necklace. I wore jeans and a t-shirt that said "Namaste this" with a truck crushing a lotus flower. Her lawyer talked about vibrational trespass and sound aggression. My lawyer Barbara the Sharp brought permits, receipts, photos, and memes. The judge took one look at Marla's meltdown screenshot and chuckled. The verdict? Dismissed. Marla fined for running an illegal retreat. Ordered to refund her guests. Declared a public nuisance. Within weeks, her house was up for sale. She left quietly one night, loading her crystals into milk crates. No goodbyes. The house sold fast. The new guy? Luis. Food truck owner. First day, he rolled up with smoked brisket tacos and a handshake like a lumberjack. We got along instantly. A week later, we threw a taco night. Projected the monster truck rally footage on a sheet. The neighborhood came alive. Now, once a month, we do it again. Taco night. Lawn chairs. Ribs. Kids playing. Sometimes Jesse brings Torque Hammer out for a little burnout action. Marla's old healing space is now a sanctuary of brisket and joy. People still talk about the rally like it was a historical event. I still get emails asking if the shirts are available. They are. Jesse printed a second batch. Do I regret it? Not even a little. I didn't ask for war. I asked for respect. Marla wanted to dominate the street with incense and spiritual superiority. I responded with legality, horsepower, and pulled pork. And when the world handed me a Marla, I handed back a monster truck rally for the ages. So, if you're ever tempted to block a neighbor's driveway for your soul retreat, remember, some people find peace in silence. Others find it in the roar of an engine and the sizzle of a grill. Me? I found it at full throttle.